Hello, everyone! Welcome, archaeologists. It is Sunday night. That means it is time for the Weekly Dig, for those new to the stream. This is a show where we talk about anime old and new. And tonight I have with me, I'm Brent. I have with me my fabulous co-host, John.
Konbanwa, Amina. Hello, everyone.
And Steve.
Hello.
And today we are here to talk about First Squad, the moment of truth. Exactly. Which I stumbled upon more or less randomly and discovered it was a Russian-financed co-production between Russia and Japan to make a basically Russia-themed anime. Yeah. I was like, I've got to see that. I just have to see what that is. And that's exactly what it is.
And I'm glad you found it because it's quite eye-opening.
Was this not really cool?
Yes, it was. That's the thing. It's like, why nobody talks about it that I've ever heard anywhere? It wasn't even in the World War II panel that we had talked about. I'd seen a Triad.
Yeah.
Wasn't in there at all. I'm like, where was this? How did people miss this?
Yeah. It's really surprisingly cool. So talk about the storyline. It is set again during World War II. It's very much a Germans versus the Russians during World War II story. You weren't already aware. Not the best of friends in World War II.
No.
Definitely not.
Feelings were hurt. Things were said.
Exactly. Land was invaded. And so, so basic concept is it is about a young girl. And by the way, full-scale spoilers here. Like, there's a lot they don't tell you that they're going to release. You got to spoil the entire thing. But a young girl who turns out to have psychic powers, who was basically trained as part of this like Esper unit in Russia. It's implied partially as a response to German research into the occult. And she sort of reunites with her, she reunites with her unit, but she reunites with her commander, gets a job to go out and basically stop a sort of demonic, ghostly invasion that will turn the tide of battle, will kind of turn the tide of World War II. And she has to kind of go out all on her lonesome and take care of that. So that's the basic premise. So World War II, kind of fantastical spirits, ghosts kind of stuff. Let's talk about just kind of the overall art style and animation first, since it is, after all, anime. I'll say the overall drawing, like the visuals themselves, I thought worked quite well. It's a somewhat muted palette, which I think works nicely. But the animation itself is not the highest budget in the world. It's fine. It's just typical anime, right? Like it's dialogue scenes are very simple. Yeah, and action looks great.
It's better than G.I. Joe.
It's definitely but it does not seem like they put like their A team necessarily on the animation all the time. But it's serviceable, definitely serviceable, and like I said, action looks great. What are your guys' thoughts of the sort of the overall kind of concept and the visuals?
Well, the visuals for me were fine. It was almost like standard anime, not bad by any stretch of the imagination, but it's we've seen better. And this was 2009. Is that right?
Look that up. I'm not sure.
So it was in the 2000s, I think.
Yeah.
And so there is that. The action sequences are good. I was just kind of surprised by the politics of everything within the anime and without the anime and outside of the anime that this thing was even made.
Yeah.
So there are many questions on that for me. But I thought it was kind of interesting how it was just basically an Esper unit against basically a fictionalized version of the Thule Society for the Germans. And the thing about this is that it's 50 minutes and it's got chock full of interesting ideas and concepts that at the end of it, it felt, they definitely left it at a point where it's like, oh, we could have more if we want.
Oh,
Yeah.
And I feel like that if somebody wanted to come back to this and actually make this a series, they could, and they could expound on all those ideas and concepts. It's kind of mashed together in this 50 minutes, but it's like there's this promise of, oh, that's really kind of a cool idea. Having this Russian Esper unit, which is kind of second rate to these like, dramatic Thule society. We're going to call forth the demon, and all this kind of stuff. And one of the things I appreciated about it was that this was definitely a Russian animation. It's anime, but this is Russian.
Right.
It's not Japanese. Yeah. This is Russian. Like they literally throw in just a couple of things just to say, hey, Japan's involved with this. They throw in a magical katana, which actually really doesn't do anything.
No.
But it's very Russian. I mean, one of the things that made me go, oh, as John would say, good on you, is showing them in the young pioneers outfit.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, which I thought, which you never see.
Yeah.
Outside of Russia. It's by the way, for those in China that don't know what that is, it's kind of like the Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts, but it was all melded together.
It would be the communist version of the Hitler Youth.
Yeah. Actually, yeah. That's a better way to put it. Yeah. And so I was just like, wow, okay, so there's like all these good concepts. Historically, there were some interesting things. I was talking to Brent about this last night, about the battle on the lake. That actually happened during the medieval times. And there's actually a movie made in the 30s. It was a propaganda movie to that effect, because I think they were starting to figure out that, we might be going up against the Germans. So, let's make this movie. And it just retells that story about the battle on the lake with Germans. So I mean, it was interesting. And I'm really surprised that, like, a group of Japanese, I think, Brent, you put it right when it was just like, that's why they did it.
Oh, it's a contract.
It's a contract, because this is a Russian story, and the Japanese just kind of animated it for them. Yeah. Because right now, even in 2000, whatever, when they were making this, they're still quibbling over those little fishing rights islands out, north of Japan and Russia. They're still quibbling about those
islands.
Yeah. And, neither side has forgotten the war, 1905, and what happened in World War II. Because actually, correct me if I'm wrong, John, the anime takes place right before the Zhukov offensive against the Japanese. Is that right? Am I getting that right?
The offensive, Galin Goal was, it was 1940.
1940. Okay. So this is a little after that.
So you had the Manchurian sort of issue where the Kwantung Army attacked the Russians, and they signed off on, a non-aggression pact afterwards, right before the Germans attacked.
Right.
John in chat asked, and before we get to you, John, are there any echoes of the Saga of Tanya the Evil in this? Would you compare and contrast them at all?
I'd give it that
conceptually,
other than purely the war element of it.
Yeah,
this is firmly and concretely grounded in World War II, 1942, Germans, Russians.
Right.
So where you have Saga of Tanya the Evil, it's got elements of World War II. It's also got kind of oddly World War I elements to it, and it's more fantastical.
And we should point out that the when these spirits come to attack, they are doing so without appearing in front of everybody. The spirit attack does not actually show up on the battlefield. So there's no actual demons showing up and attacking people with axes or anything.
You just see the end result of it,
exactly. So there's nothing supernatural happening, in the world.
Yeah. So you don't have Tanya. You've got the mages flying in with their flight kits and stuff. So this is much more realistically grounded for a pioneer Esper unit, fighting an undead German demon guy. But I liked the sort of dull coloration, because this is wintertime, so you don't have this proliferation of very bright winter uniforms are usually fairly dull anyway. And this, I got the feeling, is supposed to be casting back to 1942, so that it's supposed to be a little bit of bleached out, kind of, little dull looking, because it's almost like a memory of these things. I honestly think it's a shame that they didn't take this up and move on, because they've placed it at a time where the war is not over.
Right.
You have this one thing happen. You get to see Ananjerve and the SS guys like calling forth, and that's not the end of it.
Nope.
And it's like, but this piece ends. It's fine. It's self-contained, but it doesn't. It's got so much more it could have done before, and so much it can do after. Yeah. And it's just like, okay, I like their mechanical design. I like the battle scenes. I'm not immersed enough in Russian interests and Russian concepts where that maybe some of this stuff touched on things that perhaps I don't understand, like the Valley of Gloom, that the demons and ghosts are coming out of to invade the human world. I don't know whether that's just a convenient, hey, where would these ghosts be? Let's call it the Valley of Gloom. Or is there like some Russian thing that talks about, warriors of the past, they go to the Valley of Gloom before they pass over, or they come back. Something. I'm not immersed enough in that to know exactly. So
I assumed it was the Valley of the Shadow of Death.
But, Prime the biggest bad. Never mind.
Right, and maybe just translated weird, but it could very well be some specifically Russian thing, like you're saying.
Yeah. So I thought it was a really interesting concept. I think there really was some more information that they could have mined out of this and done things with it, but obviously once the funding for this was over, everybody was happy enough to walk away.
Right. This was produced and written by two Russians. And there are a few other like Russian names on it, but it feels like it was basically them, coming up with this, and then I assume finding the financing and making it happen.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like it was some, major production. It was a, Vanity Project is, I think, the closest word for it. But I don't know what the actual monetary aspect is. But it certainly sounds like this was a one and done.
Yeah.
And I desperately want the TV series of this. Like this would just work so well as a story.
The two looked like commissar kind of girls who are not actually commissars. They're actually working with the SS. And how do they get whatever? And how do they get orders at one point? Like, okay, you didn't do that. Well, head back to Moscow. And be like, oh, really? That easy, huh?
Yeah,
exactly. Just get in a car, go to Moscow. There's not like a front line, everybody dying everywhere. It's the middle of winter. So,
I'm glad you mentioned that, because he goes, you'll be in Moscow tomorrow. I was like, what?
Yeah, that's not a thing.
Yeah, that was the German dream, but that didn't happen. That's how things worked.
Well, I mean, there was so much to this that you could expound on, and Mr. Rasputin guy, who's like who finds her after the bombing of the camp, and he just, I was just like, why is Rasputin in here?
Yeah,
and it's not, but he is definitely a mystic, and
he's the Grand Metropolitan of the Russian Orthodox Church. He's just hiding out in the cabin right now. Oh, cool.
But there was definitely some interesting things, like for example, when she's doing the show undercover for whatever reason, right before she has amnesia, and from the bomb blast, she's doing the trick of, I know your name, because she's got these powers, and then she takes the things off and she goes, so how long do I have to live? And like everyone looks dead to her, and you're just like, ooh.
I felt there was a missed opportunity on that.
And there was, and what I also thought was really interesting, and it was kind of one of those things where it's like, obviously when they were writing this, they put a lot of thought behind it, but it didn't really translate that well. But I thought it was interesting. Was the idea as she's laying there dying, that she's actually sitting in a movie theater.
Yes.
And this is how we get the backstory of like her unit, and they're under the guise of young pioneers, but this, and it's just kind of like, and then at the end of it, the guy goes, I'm dead. You're not. Go ahead and go to the exit. Why are you doing this?
Yeah.
And then coming up with the idea of, well, we're going to resurrect you're going to resurrect your unit because, they were all killed previously. And so, we need you to go do the thing. And I love how they steampunk the whole jury rig to get her to go into the into the in-between world of where, spirits are to find her friends. But were you guys also kind of like, at the very end of it, when the battle is over and they, make the discovery, and she looks up around and all of her friends are gone. Like 1 second they're just standing there, and the next second they're just gone. Like no talk, no nothing. They're just gone.
Because here's the thing. Yes, they should have disappeared.
Right.
Yes, it should have been abrupt, but I wanted a moment.
Right.
I wanted a moment where she realized, she comes up, she sees them around, and then they all start to fade away. So she has that realization of, oh, right, But yeah, it felt like they just jumped past it.
Yeah.
Well, did you guys get the sense that the dead demon, the more dead demons, re-dead? When the sunlight hits them, they fade away. So I got the sense that was a sparing moment, because if you're going to commit to that, where it's like, oh, the fallen of these monsters, they've come from the Valley of Gloom and they get hit with sunlight and they evaporate. It would be much to have her see her friends, have them hit with sunlight, and they're from the Valley of Gloom too. Even though they're good, the last thing she's really going to want to see is like the guy she likes, and he's like, go on, live your just ashifies, be like, oh my God, that's horrible. Versus they're gone. So you almost could have like, the virtuous dead. They have the ones that evaporated in sunlight, they're truly gone. But her friends who are the virtuous dead, they've returned to the Valley of Gloom and or gone on. They're done their part, and now they've moved on, and I don't have to see them evaporate.
Yeah,
so.
I would have liked to see that addressed one way or the other.
Yeah,
and not necessarily like decided on, but just give us something other than they're just not there anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I will.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I just wanted to say that the one thing that I was just like, I could tell this was very rushing, but it was very off-putting. Was, boy, did they make her angry all the time? Like not like rage angry, but she was just angry. The whole, like, her facial features, just anger through the whole thing.
Yeah,
and that is the mindset of that time for the Russians, because they were life was not good at that time. But still, it was just kind of weird just having just like 14, 15-year-old girls just be like,
oh, okay. So first off, so two things. One, I actually really liked her sort of emotional palette throughout the story, because one thing I like is that she's not the I don't know what to do, I'm kind of being dragged along character.
Right.
But she's also not like Supergirl, charging forward, doing things. And she found a nice balance there.
Mind blast. Mind blast.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
mind bullets at yikes from 200 yards.
Yeah, it's definitely more like an Indiana Jones style. Like, oh, I guess we're doing this now. Okay,
Yeah.
Gotta figure it out. But her squad is described as like this squad of like Esper teenagers. She's a small 13. I just gotta say, like, she is quite petite.
Yeah.
Like, she is half the height of her commander. So I'm like, that's interesting. And again, I don't know if that's one of those things where they're saying teen in the sense that it was majorly teen. She's like maybe 12 or something. But it just kind of arched my eyebrows. Like, she is not presenting as 15 years old. She's young. But yeah, it's interesting. Okay, not half the height. I will admit, but still.
And I would love to see the story arc of how they got the swords.
Yeah.
Like actually seeing, and actually I think we were kind of joking about it earlier, but actually now that I think about it, I'm like, well, it'd actually be kind of cool to see the Thule Society going after the sword at the bottom of this lake.
Yeah.
Right. Like how they do that. Like like in Hellboy, they show how they do the things. And it would be it'd be interesting to see what like combination of technology and magic that they use to go down and get this. And I desperately want an explanation as to why she has a katana and how they got it, considering that in World War II, the Japanese and Russians were fighting each other. So I would like to see from the Russian point of view of like, this is how we got it. Whatever.
Which it could have been the border dispute around Manchuria that they picked it up, the year or two prior. But we don't freaking know.
No, right.
Yeah.
There was an Omnioji in the Japanese ranks who fought Zhukov on the border, and this Omnioji tried to call forth, and they got killed. And blah, we took their sword. Like, yes,
okay.
Tell me, give me that. I want some of that.
It was kind of weird, given that we knew quite a bit about the other sword, like the sword they used for Von Wolf, the bad guy, and then. She just opens her locker and they're like, "There's a thing for you in here," and there's the samurai sword in there, and like she pulls it out with recognition.
Yeah.
Yes.
And like she opens it, closes it, so like she knows what this is. So I thought it's odd. And again, I don't want the full backstory here, but just if somebody just said, yes, that is indeed the Muramasa blade or whatever.
Right.
Was there something written on the blade?
I could not.
No, I thought it was a dragon. I thought it was just a dragon.
I was gonna say, because when she opened it, there's something in the pattern of the blade, and I wasn't sure whether, because it's not her reflection, because she opens it looking at the camera, and you're seeing the back side of the blade. Unless it's a misunderstanding of how mirrors work, which is possible.
Mirrors, how do they work?
I thought it was a dragon, but it could be wrong.
Yeah, I thought it might have been something written on it.
But they say to her, and you're gonna have something, and you know how to use it,
right?
Like just basically a way of saying, Luke, use the Force.
Yeah,
trust in yourself. Here's this blade. You know how to use it. Trust.
Their pioneer training. I saw a lot of like riflery and like blindfolded like obstacle course crawling. I missed the entire like ghost katana fighting scene.
Yeah,
and it's quite possible that that was a scene they planned for that didn't work out.
Easily
they had to cut that moment for whatever reason.
Right.
But yeah, it was kind of odd. But John and Chad, I completely agree. It's coolness factor, right? It's
right.
That's certainly true.
Better than a giant hammer.
Exactly. Well, a rocket hammer.
Cool. Mjolnir.
There we go.
Somehow the Soviets captured Mjolnir.
a little petite 13-year-old girl going.
But yeah, interesting story. I will also say I really appreciated the overall pacing and structure of this. Like, it moves from scene to scene, moment to moment, always adding, always building, always giving you a little bit more. It never feels... It drags a bit when she meets her commander, and they're walking through the hallways, and we get very much a pointer scene of, well, let me explain everything that happened in the past 6 months, right? But in general, like I think this was pretty well structured.
Yeah.
You just reminded me of the spirit radars.
Yeah.
Those are cool. like they don't really give you much of an explanation of anything about them. They just look cool. It's just like, on our spirit radar, it indicates that there's a massive force of magic happening here, and this is where we need to be. And I'm like going, okay, and are we powering this with the souls of the tears of dead orphans?
Babies?
What
I just love the idea of taking the oscilloscopes, and it's like they didn't do anything like crazy, like out of control, because there were oscilloscopes at the time,
right?
You know what I mean? It's like
there was radar.
That's a funky thing to do. There was television. 1936 Olympic Games in Berlin were broadcast to television parlors in Berlin,
right?
And select cities apparently. So it's like it's just neat to see the way that they incorporated that kind of like very overbuilt kind of thing. Where it's like, damn. Good on y'all.
But what was nice about that was that it fit the time period. So it wasn't like you opened this room and it was like all stark white and beep, 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 you know, it very much looked like here are the circuits we cobbled together and to put the thing, and because they're all uniform, like all the machines are uniform.
Yep.
And so, you know, it's just like, okay, this is very utilitarian, you know, boom, this is what it does. And here it is. And we're not going to have a whole white room dedicated with some guy with glasses in there with a clipboard going, okay, and this is how this works.
Well, it's also, go ahead.
This is a 19th century building that they commandeered a hallway for this stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I also enjoy the juxtaposition of the woman who's typing.
Yeah.
And then you've got the spirit monikers.
Right.
Where it's like, you know, you're absolutely right, Steve. You could have done this like, oh, the Soviet Union has like captured alien technology, and we've got this room that's like so super futuristic, and you know, we've got, you know, computers now that nobody else knows about. No, this is all like entirely plausible, except for the spirit monitors. It's all entirely plausible mechanically and at its given time. You know, it's like, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, like they're using period era headphones with the spirit monitors. It's like, oh, gotcha.
Right.
Yeah, you have. That's really cool. It's actually one of the really cool things about this, I think, is how they mix just enough fiction in with the fact. Like they say that their unit is fighting against the Ahnenerbe, which is the German organization devoted to the Aryan superiority concept. Except that in real life, they were basically just an archaeological group. They were not involved in any supernatural like investigation.
They were looking for the spear of Longinus, but they did, you know, they weren't like trying to call forth anybody with it.
Right. Yeah.
Well, even that,
come on to our side.
Yeah. And it's one of those things where apparently like a lot of folks have confused that organization with the organizations that were like, oh yes, clearly these things exist and we're going to find them. And so I think they're kind of playing off that idea that, you know, we're not trying to be period historically accurate about every organization. We can have our own little mythology within this. That organization is actually, you know, full of guys in cloaks in a giant room, you know.
Yeah. The big rune on the table. Ulatek.
I don't know where that was in the movie.
And of course, the lovely notion that it's like you have a thing as the catalyst to call forth a powerful demon, and then ask it to do things for you, versus it being like, "Thanks for awakening me. I'm going to harvest you all."
Yeah,
right.
I would have also loved to have seen that. Like, oh no, the Ananiere Society and the SS have called forth a world-destroying demon. The war has to stop. Now demons are pouring forth.
Yeah, and so
sort
everyone
of like
just
strike witches in the Neroi.
You could see that, like going, the Germans going, okay, world, how to explain this? We're trying to kill you all.
We would say sorry.
We would say sorry.
Not really.
Not really sorry. We are trying to kill you all and take over everything and make it in our image. But we did this really bad decision. And so we're going to need your help. And then we'll go back to killing each other, okay?
Yeah.
So, but for the most part, because here's the footage of the guys who conjured the demon, and it just ain't pretty.
It's all blood. It's just all blood. Well, and that is the premise of Gun Parade March and Gun Parade Orchestra. Indeed.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. The Nazis opened a portal to the world of basically the aliens from Alien, and let them in.
Oh God.
And it's like bad choice. Yeah.
We did not properly research this. Wikipedia was wrong.
Play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
It's the perfect organism.
For destroying humanity. Yeah, good job.
I mean, granted, there was the what was the was it? It wasn't Wayland Yutani, was it? The company that in Alien.
Wayland. Shit. Sorry.
Oh,
Wayland. No, it was Wayland Yutani.
Yeah, okay, cool.
But yeah, it was Wayland Yutani.
Yeah. They thought they can control the alien, right? They were there on they were there to bring it back. Yeah, I guess it's possible.
Think of all the corporate applications you can do with this thing that just murdered the entire crew of a starship. Should we really bring that back? Think of the profits, Bob.
Yeah.
Okay, it'll be over there.
Don't worry, we have it in this really great cage that we spent as little money as possible. Right over here.
What
You'll
could
be
possibly,
safe.
etc.
Yeah, what could possibly go wrong? Oh, God.
So getting back to the first squad. Yeah, like, I really enjoyed this. This is a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I do want to ask you all a question, which may or may not become a regular question. It's not the question we're going to ask at the end of the show. If you were the director of this, what would you have done differently? Assume it still has to be, basically the same length, basically the same, concept. Would you have done anything differently on this?
Well, I mean, if we had to keep it to the same length, then the choices become different. Because the immediate thing that would have come to my mind would have been to make it a short OVA, 3-4 episodes, because I think that would have worked. To explain things. I think the thing that I probably would have changed is what I said earlier, is somehow, some way, try to devote time into the importance of getting the sword out of, and why the sword was the catalyst for calling the demon. And I would. It's so hard because it was only like 50 minutes.
Yeah.
Either that or spend more time with the Pioneer unit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
So you build, because that's something that comes back, and when you reach the end of the episode of the movie, and you realize, oh yes, we can go further with this. You want it to spend more time with those characters, like, there's the big guy who can handle, the was it the M4 whatever it was,
MG42.
Yeah, 42. Thank you. With like practically one hand, and
he's actually doing a really good job by holding the bipod to the side to stabilize the front. He actually can do that. Cool. Now, mind you, that's a hell of a lot of ammunition to carry. It's a very heavy machine gun, but if you're buff, it's a possibility.
There's that, the kind of leader, boyfriend, and the girl, the one girl who had braids, and then she had the weird, like, witch hunter Robin kind of everything going on.
Well, geez, Steve, she was dead. Would you give her a break?
And the little guy, I still don't get the little guy. Whatever. But just
Shoda?
just kind of,
what?
Yeah. but just a little bit more of that, so that you can feel more of, like, when they do disappear, just do the disappear, like, oh, and this they're just like, okay, well, that kind of sucked.
I hear that, John.
There's so much, right?
There is, but if I'm limited to the 50 minutes that I've got,
you can add a few minutes here and there, right? It doesn't have to be exactly the same length,
Yeah, I mean, I'd like certainly more connectivity. We know how she meets leader of the first squad. We don't have a lot of development about the other elements of her squad. We see them in training, but we don't have like a great sense that she's bonded to all of them as much as she is to him, for obvious reasons. And it's like, I would like to see more fleshing out of that, because then, as Steve was saying, like, when you get to the end and they're gone, that you'd have a more poignant moment of like, but I'll see them again. You know what I mean? Something like that gives you that piece at the end. I'd like to see more battle. I mean, just honestly, with
that's
blowing up the traveling circus that she's in, where she's picking out people who, what's your name? When am I going to die? I would, I'm not a horror fan. I'm not a Jujito fan per se. I'm not a Yamashita fan necessarily, but I would love to see other moments where her Esper skills pop in, and like when she's talking to the guy who's like the leader of the troop, and like half of his head's like gone, and she's just kind of like, and it's like I would like to see more of that, just because that would be really interesting to see her, you know, mixing and mingling among people, and like there's the guy from the Moment of Truth who's not dead, and then there's all these other people, and it's like, you know, what are those? Does that give then the sense of he was this Moment of Truth out of these 500 people she's now seen?
Right.
There's 60 of them that are not dead. Is this like a perpetual fight? Did we stop this Moment of Truth, but now 59 other moments of truth that this is going to keep like being a factor in this? So I'd like to see some more of that kind of stuff. And it's like,
You brought something up actually that I didn't think about, which was the fact that
this film was in Russian. Okay, right, Steve.
oh my God! And somehow I understood. That she actually has a degree of lack of control. Of this power,
absolutely,
and which shows in that scene, and that would be something, as you would see like in the series, that would definitely be something that would be addressed. You know, like, how do you cope with that? How she overcomes that, and how that makes her better. Yeah.
If she's tired and she's worn out, does that mean she isn't able to filter things? Because we saw her in the back of the truck. She's she's sticking to herself. She's kind of distraught. So does that leave her vulnerable to the strength of her power?
Yeah.
Right.
And you know, as we see later, you know, she's trying to bring them forward, and she doesn't know if it worked.
Yeah.
So she definitely doesn't have the full control of the power. That's absolutely right. I changed the ending. Not the basic content of the ending, but again, spoiler alert. There's a really neat moment in the ending where they realize they've killed the main dude. One of the other guys throws the sword away as all the like zombies and ghosts basically are leaving, and one of them catches the sword and takes it back with him, and it's like, oh, that's interesting. Like, I didn't expect that. And then you find out that they didn't act, that the ghost demon thing that they killed was not actually Von Wolf.
Yep.
And that he had gotten out. And I'm like, but he was literally the guy leading the charge in the armor thing. And like, that's who you saw in the original thing, cutting off the guy's head. That should be the Moment of Truth. That's not a fair bait and switch. I really don't like that kind of thing. I would have had him be dead, but then realize there's tons of other dead people who are more than willing to take up that charge.
Yeah.
And so yes, you killed this one, but that doesn't mean that the fight is over. Somebody else is just going to do the same thing, 6 months from now with that sword.
Right.
And you could have done a cliche thing and just had, them pull his helmet off and him look at them and be like, death is only the beginning.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. You know what I mean? And then be like, oh, crap, what does that mean?
You have only made me strong.
Yeah, if you kill a dead thing, do you bring it back to, oh, crap.
And like we were talking about, I would have changed that moment when they all disappear. I would have made it just more dramatic, punch it up more, give me more. In fact, that would be the moment to add the flashbacks. When he dies, she looks up, and then you see that moment with that character. Then you see that perhaps.
The little guy probably doing something, laughing with the girl, doing something, a tender moment with the boyfriend, and
that's
whatever.
When you reveal that there's a love triangle between the younger boy and the older boy, right? And like there's a whole other level of stuff going on there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just felt a little too rushed for me. But again, like I think the overall content of it, the whole idea of the fight on the ice, and her having to bring them back and all stuff, all of those beats I think work really well for me. I particularly like how everything literally stops and they're fighting in like frozen moment in time.
Yeah,
that was really cool.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, they did a good job on that, too, explaining, like, oh, well, there's no way for average people to fight against these things. They can't see them. Mm-hmm. Where it's like, okay, that makes sense that there's this stop moment if you recall back to that one comment.
Yep.
So it's like, not that I want you to, like Steve with the 2x4, you can't see them. But it's like, you have to have paid attention to hear that, to then make that time stop, like link in with things.
Yeah.
So,
sorry, go ahead.
I also wanted a little more denouement of, I want to see her going back to her commander and him saying, welcome back, because you are now the leader of the new first squad.
Yeah.
Right, and here are your recruits, basically. And we're spinning all that, like, okay, she's earned that. Right now, we do that.
Yeah, and we know that that's a durable squad because they actually have a squad signifier. They actually have a squad thing going on. So she isn't just the, there was only one. That's it. First squad, there was only one. Sorry, guys. Now it's all done. Like, no.
All of this that we spent money on is to support a 13-year-old girl.
No. Like, that would be the thing, is that she comes back and he says, welcome to second squad.
Yeah.
That's how you end it.
Yeah. But I think they were trying to, as you said, it felt like they were trying to hustle to the end. I think they were certainly rushing. Yay, I did the thing for the week. Yes, the jokes don't get better, but they get more frequent.
Oh, dear.
And I completely agree with all of you that, oh gosh, I want a series out of this. I'm desperate for a series out of this.
This actually really could be a really good,
absolutely
really good thing. Yeah.
There's so many elements of this that would just work so well. I would love for them summoning back the first squad as being, that's not an episodic thing. It should happen, but that should be your season finale, right? It's kind of that bad. I need to pull these back, which gives you the episodes to kind of, again, fill back in the details on what it was like with First Squad, all those sort of characters, so that she gets like that those 5 minutes with those characters again, very briefly, before they have to leave.
Well, Brent, here's an archaeological question for you. Given the time period that this was made, given that the writers of this were foreign writers, how interested was the Japanese animation industry in picking up stories from foreign markets to make more domestic animation?
Depends on how much they paid. It's certainly open to it. We have plenty of examples of co-productions. The ubiquitous French co-productions with anime studios, going back decades. I think that I've never heard of a studio being closed to the idea. Like, we will not do that.
Buying the story is not co-producing with, so not going back to the Russian writers and Russians and saying, hey, let's do another collab. No, literally going and saying, we want to, hi, Russian people, you wrote this stuff. We want to buy it.
Oh, gotcha.
And now we're going to go back to Studio IG, and we're going to run with this. We bought the rights to the story. We've got this framework. We have this film, and now we can just build off of this.
And now we're going to make the manga, and then we're going to make the light novels, and then we're going to do a live action.
And that's the thing. It's like, but at that time,
and put it on Netflix.
Were they? It's because it's only been within the last couple of years that we've talked about where it's like, oh, such and such studio is allowing submissions internationally for a story competition. It's like, it seems like those international submissions have only been more recently. At that time, would it have been something where the Russians could have been like, hey, we'll sell you the story. Will you make it?
Yeah.
You go ahead.
So I think you have two limiting factors here. Okay. You have the fact that for a studio, it is very difficult for them to come up with the money to license something. Right. And it is more in their self-interest to come up with something on their own that they can license and make money off of. Girls and Panzer being the classic example. Okay. If you're one of the publishers that has the manga and does that and finances half the anime out there, you have no incentive to use a foreign product because you got 28 ongoing manga that you can license for things. So I think there's no compelling reason. They certainly could, but there's nothing like driving them to say, oh yes, this would be a great decision.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, because there's some gems out there that you could.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, I would love. Let's start a petition. You know, we know how effective online petitions are. I couldn't even say it with a straight face. But
Let's try a Kickstarter campaign.
There we go.
Oh,
A lot of money, for that, and then we'll make it work somehow. We'll just make it work.
Insert phase 1, insert money. Phase 3, profit.
Yeah.
What about phase 2?
Yeah.
Phase 1, phase 3.
So phase 2 is they're working on it, and what's it called? The worst isekai ever.
It's and this is the interesting thing is. Here's a good example of like the problem is I want a series, but then that's way more expensive. Like,
Yeah.
I'm betting pulling together the money for a hour-long film. For the animation budget here is, it's not billions of dollars, I'll bet. So I'm sure they could make that happen. TV series is a whole other ballgame.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts?
It was definitely worth the
Squad
watch.
chibi version.
That would be controversial.
And make all the demons and stuff like little squishy, sort of like Hu Tao ghosts.
There we go. Much more marketable.
Oh, how fun!
Actually, that would be the way they'd do it. They'd make just like a cutesy, 3-minute episode.
Yeah.
First Squad Junior High.
Everyone's dead.
The opposing school next door. It's all the Nazis.
Exactly.
It's like, and they're all competing to go to nationals in some ridiculous sport.
Yes, in
Badminton.
in summer. Yeah. I don't know.
Jousting.
Esper chess.
Yeah.
Very strategic. Mind
What was the show? Baka and Test.
Bakuto test.
Baka and
Yeah.
Test. Yeah, where they have to battle each other in the hallways to rise up in ranks in the school.
Yep.
Just do that. Summon your dead comrades to to improve your class's ranking in school. It works.
Class 1-3 is going to become class 1-1.
I need to go back and watch more of that show. It was such a fun show. Should also point out before we end. I don't know about you guys. I watched this in the Russian.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yep.
There is an English dub.
Yep.
I actually kind of want to watch it now because it's got a bunch of really top-notch voice actors in it. Bryce.
Really,
Papenbrook.
I didn't even look.
Bryce Papenbrook, Cassandra Lee Morris, Phineas, and Murat. I'm not sure who that is played by Tony Oliver.
Wow.
Rick Hunter in Robotech.
Yeah.
And
Damn.
a bazillion other things in anime. So yeah, it's just impressive.
And Tony Randall.
Yeah.
What?
Carrie Kareninen, I think.
Cary Grant.
Yeah. So if you're interested, there is an English dub if that's kind of more your preference. To the Russian dub, and I have no idea how good they did on that because I can't tell.
With my perfectly pitched Russian, it was great. It was the best.
Good to know. Cool. Yeah, that is First Squad, The Moment of Truth. Available somewhere. I'm sure you can find it if you look hard enough. I think it is around.
Right Stuff or stuff like that, and their
Not
DVD
that,
bargain bin.
Let me just double check. Yeah.
Region
Actually, it's
4
around
in the
a
bin.
lot. Wow. It's on YouTube, as in rent on YouTube.
Right.
Okay.
It's on Tubi. It's on Amazon. It's on Google Play.
Really?
So
Damn.
yeah, rent for $2, buy for $6 on Amazon. Cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
And Tubi's free, I think, isn't it? With ads?
Yeah, free with ads. Yeah.
Yeah.
So hey,
Wow.
go check it out. It's there.
Cool.
Nice.
Good news.
Not just your bargain DVD bin at the local gas station. Nice.
And it was licensed and brought over here by, brought over to the to North America by Mug Entertainment.
Nice.
So there was a release.
For a brief second, I thought you were really going to say U.S. Manga Corps.
Memories. Oh,
I was hoping you were going to say Gazprom, but that's probably not right.
yeah, that's an interesting question. Does any money go back through the channels now?
Oh.
If you buy that, You know, are there any royalties going across that great economic divide at the moment? I don't know.
Maybe it's held in trust for a future thawing of relations.
Mm-hmm. Who knows? Yeah, that's First Squad. Really cool anime. It turns out.
Thank you for finding it.
You're welcome.
Yes. Yeah, appreciate it.
Fun when we come across these things. All right, we're gonna take a quick break. We'll be back in just a few minutes to talk about the latest anime news. See you then. back. Welcome back, everyone. Let's take a moment, a little breather, talk about the anime we've been watching. Folks in the chat, please let us know what you've been watching lately and any questions you have for the three of us. John in chat might be the only one in chat at the moment, so look forward to hearing from you. And
there's all
John,
the secret chatters that aren't
true.
saying anything.
Yes.
They're just watching.
Below the
The
iceberg.
lurkers.
But John, how about you? What you been keeping up with?
I fortunately have been able, and I don't know why. I don't think it's our schedule. I don't know, but I'm watching a crap ton more anime on Saturday.
Cool.
Like I don't know whether it's because I'm getting so much stuff done in the start of the day, then the afternoon I can get some Genshin, and then the late evening I can then catch up on anime. So I've caught up on Rise of the Shield Hero, Kaguya-sama Love is War, Date Alive, Love After World Domination, Shikamori's Not Just a Cutie, couple of Cuckoo, Spy by Family, Aran-san.
Wow.
Geez, what
And then in
else?
the afternoon.
Yeah, Skeleton Knight, Greatest Demon Lord, Miss Shachiku. Yeah, I've caught up on a ton of stuff. Now, that said, I do feel kind of bad that I've still got Slow Loop, Girls Front Line, and some other bits and pieces. Sakurubi Bisco, whatever it was, the crazy mushroom bow guy. Yeah. They're still sitting on my Funimation.
Okay.
And I've seen where like Shield Heroes moved entirely over to Crunchy, so you get first season and second season, and Funimation only has first season on their site anymore. Yeah. So I'm guessing that at some point they're going to shift those shows over to Crunchy in their entirety, but they haven't yet. And it's like, now's the opportunity for me to just knock them out, get them done, and then cancel the Funimation. So I don't need you to keep doing that. So that's been catching up with that. It was Memorial Day week, so busy with work, trying to keep things keep moving soda to people so that they can enjoy their week. And then kicking concrete blocks with my foot and bashing my toe open. Yay!
That's too bad. Just saying.
Yeah. My Band-Aid's holding, and hopefully it won't go all like awful looking and Neosporin on it. So yeah, I don't want to go through the process of losing the nail because that's it's nasty. So I'm hoping the Band-Aid, Neosporin, that everything will bind back up and it'll be very happy. And I'm only going to have a slight limp when I'm trying to walk around and do stuff. Like, oh, what's wrong? War injury. I was fighting Von Wolf in Russia.
Why does your foot squish when you walk?
Necrotic flesh is weird like that sometimes, you know. So yeah, that's been the week thus far.
Speaking of which, real quick, so you've been watching anime on Funimation recently?
Yeah.
Yes.
Are you getting the pre-roll now, where before the video they have a quick video saying like the largest amount of anime everywhere. The future of Funimation is on Crunchyroll.
Yes.
Yeah.
Isn't that the weirdest thing?
Yes, it is. But that's, you know what I mean? It's like that's their wholly owned property now.
Yeah.
So, you know, they're pushing it, and so they should.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because as we had discussed a while back, it's like Funimation should license the stuff, Crunchyroll should show the stuff. And it's like, finally somebody's maybe moving that direction.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because like when I've been watching Funimation, if I can talk.
Exactly.
You know, in preparation for the panel that Brent and I will be showcasing on OpenCon. So some of the stuff is on Fun Animation, and I was like, oh, okay, this is weird. And I don't know about you, John, but the circle is more and more consistent. Like it wasn't that bad in the past, and I think that I think their IT people are just like going, slow death. We're not going to worry about it.
Yeah.
You know, we're just going to let it die a slow death, and then we're going to move everything over, and we're not going to patch. We're not going to do anything. We're not, you know, any of this. And there have been times when I would go into a show and it would be listed there on the Fun Animation, and then I click on it and it goes, "Oh, we're going to take you to Crunchyroll now."
Oh,
and there you go.
Yeah.
And it takes you right over. So it kind of depends on the show. So they are moving things. They are definitely moving things over.
Gotcha.
What was it? Hanasaku Iora that several years ago that was a Funimation property on Crunchyroll, and it was going back to Funimation. I had finished watching it, so it was in the watched list on my Crunchy queue. And then just curiosity after the date had come and gone where they said, these 70 shows are going to leave the library. I went and clicked on one of the episodes, and I got like, go to Funimation. I'm like, oh, okay, gotcha. I see how you're doing that. Yeah. So yeah, cross references. No, go over there.
Yeah. Steve, how about you?
Well, like I said, kind of just watching some of the stuff like you had for me, and then watching the stuff that I had for you, just so I could talk to it, kind of refresh. So that was like 6 in total over the past couple weeks, and kind of like I almost made it to Comey, the newest episode of Comey, but so I'll try to condense this small for Chatland. I lost Genshin for like 3 days, 4 days.
Yeah.
And I
nearly lost your mind.
No, I did lose my mind. I'm still finding parts of it in corners of the apartment. I'm like going, oh yeah, I need that part. Yeah. But so the other night I was about to watch Comey, and I got as far as her waking up out of the bed in the episode, and then suddenly Genshin came on, and I was just like, the addiction. and went over there and did that. So actually that and something that I'm going to be doing later on this month, I decided to do. So I went back in the Wayback Machine because I actually have this DVD, this series on DVD, and it's Gravitation. And so, I've been wanting this year to do a couple. I wanted to do for June, which is Gay Pride Month. I wanted to do a Yaoi, and I want to do a Yuri, review of those. I'm pretty sure, just because I love it so much, Strawberry Panic will be the Yuri. Okay. But I was kind of watching Gravitation, and the English dub. So the guy, I forget the actor who does Tenchi. English, he does the character of the main character in Gravitation. So I was watching that and like laughing at myself, because the only reason why I started watching his DVD was because someone said, oh, it's about music, this guy trying to get into the music industry. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And I'm watching it, and this was years ago, and watching it, and then there's the elevator scene with Yuki, and they kiss, the two guys kiss, and I just kind of paused and went, huh. Read the back, YAOI. What's
an odd word?
Yeah.
Okay, it all makes sense now. Yep. Got it. Yeah. Got it.
They want to get into the music industry, and among other things.
Among other things, yes.
Yeah. Yes.
So anyway,
they're into each other.
Oh god. It's not even 10 o'clock, dude.
I didn't say anything. People think what they want to think.
So watch that. I finished up a project I was doing for the month of May, which was sitting down and writing a story, a concept, or whatever, 500 words every day.
That's awesome.
And so I finished that up, and it was like the ending of it actually came a little bit of a surprise to me. I was like, oh, this is the last one.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I had gotten into the habit of it's 11 o'clock, 11:30 or midnight, whatever. And I'm like, okay, it's time to sit down at the laptop and sit and think for a moment, type the thing out, and, spell grammar check and all that. And then just, every day doing that every day and just coming out with concepts. And I was telling Brent this the other night, I was kind of looking back on it, and you find out that and part of the reason of doing this is not only just to get yourself into the habit of writing, doesn't matter how good it is or how bad it is, just write.
Yep.
But, going back and just finding where my mind was in certain places, like I was saying, like a lot of the stories had to do about crabbing and fishing. And then like one night it was like about fantasy about a shaman and various other things, and voodoo. There was a voodoo story in there. And so, there's like all these different things that were coming out of my head onto it. And the nice thing is that out of the 31 things that I wrote, out of 90 pages, that I wrote over the past month, there's like a really good surprising amount of ideas to expound on and to expand, and maybe like 5 or 6 of these things will actually become actual stories. So it was kind of fun. It was a neat little thing.
I remember hearing an author who was asked, what is kind of your writing process? And she says, I write, however many words of it a day, 500, 1,000, whatever it was. And they go, oh, how do you write? I mean, what do you decide what to write on? And she goes, I write that many words every day. If that means I open up Moby Dick and retype Moby Dick, that counts. Because I want to be in the habit of writing every day.
Right.
And I don't. If I'm not in the mood, I still do the process, so my brain stays in my brain. No, you are still doing this every day. You don't get out of it.
Right.
And just having that habit. And she said, and so I don't have a lot of days when I'm retyping Moby Dick, because I'm in the habit now. It matters.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good on you, man. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. I've been I watching anime for the upcoming panel at OnCon this Saturday. First 2 episodes of Catcher in Sins, which was cool.
Yep.
And the preview of that is, definitely down my alley, up my alley, however that goes. And definitely
it's all sugar and sunshine.
Oh, yeah.
Sunshine and lollipops and rainbows and everything.
Absolutely.
Being crushed under the foot of a boot. Just for 24 minutes every episode. Yeah, that is that is some of the darkest of the dark out there in anime land, I would say. But interestingly constructed, interesting premise. In fact, I just acquired a couple hours ago the original Kashan from 1973.
Ooh.
So it was enough to make me go back and say, I wonder what the original show was like. So we'll see. We'll see what that's like. That might be a little bit of a watch party for me later on. Okay, let's pop some popcorn. Let's see what this is like.
I'm just laughing because I already know what's gonna happen. But yeah, go for it. Seriously, it's a ride.
So yeah, that's been the main thing for me in terms of animes. Actually, I was curled up in bed most of the week. So this was not the best week for me to getting stuff done, unfortunately. So hopefully that will change. Y'all hear that?
Here's something.
And welcome to the latest anime news for the week ending June 5th, 2022. Let us get into it. A bit of a different format this week, but we'll kind of see how this goes. So, Facets Cinema in Chicago has announced they're going to be showing some anime. Anime films. You think, okay,
Nice.
great. Maybe they've got some Miyazaki, maybe they've got some Takahata, maybe Makoto Shinkai film. Nope, Angel's Egg.
Of course.
Wow.
You think that's a crowd pleaser?
Oh, it's gonna live out very confused folks walking out of that movie theater.
This is what I see. This is what I see happening. It's Fantasia all over again.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
Right. So all the mothers going to be like, it's the Japanese animation with
Right.
the wide
Yes.
eyes,
It's got a little
and
girl
we're
in
going to
it.
bring a little girl in it, and it's going to be. Oh, I'm sure this is going to be a fairy tale story. Let's bring and then I could just see the kid just go, "What did I say? I don't understand." And the woman just went, "Where's my money back?"
Oh, the kid's going to be crawling around on the floor, bored out of their mind in 5 minutes.
They'll enjoy the tanks, and that 3 seconds will go by. And they're like, oh, now what?
Oh, now in fairness, I rag on them, but this is a really neat line to do. Angel's Egg. It's actually they're also showing Ghost in the Shell, the original Ghost in the Shell movie, Mind Game in Paprika. Except, get this, it's a double feature. So you go in and you watch Ghost in the Shell, And then they follow that up with Angel's Egg.
Ow! Ow! Ow!
Oof.
Oh my God! I just got a splitting headache.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God!
Let's just
Why
follow
would you
right
do
off
that? Like,
Did
I
they
thought-
watch these films before they make the lineup? Or,
Ow!
like, reason?
I thought you were gonna say like, oh, they're gonna do a double, like Ghost in the Shell and Mind Games, and I'll be like, okay, that's whatever.
Nope.
But that hurts.
Yeah, no,
No.
that's the plan.
No,
So that's June
that's
3rd.
not a plan.
June 3rd. Wow. Okay.
Oh God.
And then on June 17th is Mind Game.
Okay.
Okay.
And then June 30th is Paprika.
I would like to see Paprika.
Yeah, Paprika's
On the big screen.
yeah, those are definitely big screen movies. Mind Game,
Yeah.
but Paprika definitely.
Yeah.
Ghost in the Shell definitely. Here's the
Angel's Egg.
other thing. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
And here's what also is interesting. This is the first North American release of Angel's Egg.
I didn't even think about that.
It's not been released on DVD. It's not been released anywhere in the U.S. Anchor Bay Entertainment announced it acquired the DVD rights back in 2001, but never released it.
Oh wow.
It's only been a fan sub. So isn't that weird?
Yeah.
This will be the first legitimate release. And granted, I mean, it was actually 2 days ago. It was June 3rd, Friday.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's kind of interesting.
So I gotta tell you, that beats the thing that's coming up in my area of the world up here in Baltimore. I've got Grave of the Fireflies coming in on June 19th.
Wow.
At the center local historic theater.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
One of they show a lot of them in the Charles Theater. They do a lot of anime stuff too. God, can you? Oh. God,
Yeah.
I'm just like trying to think of a double feature with Grave of the Fireflies. Good Lord.
Just Grave again. Just
Yeah.
Just keep playing it.
Stuck in a time loop. Just like those kids. Anyway.
The audience won't leave because they're so distraught. Come on, people, get up. I can't watch.
Anna did reach out to the cinema saying, what is this? Like, what translation are you using? And they did not respond by press time. The fastest listing explicitly says it gained cult status through tape trade and other means of underground distribution. So they're aware.
True. You know what? There's a person.
Piracy.
Right?
Yeah.
It has to be. But there was somebody who came up with that lineup.
Yeah.
That person
Oh, yeah.
who's definitely an otaku who said, "Oh, we're gonna do this, and we're gonna do this, and look at all the ratings of Angel Egg." They're probably like, "Oh, wow, we're definitely an art house, so we should definitely do this and this kind of thing, and this will be great." I just could see probably the owner of the theater just going, "I'd rather have French movies in here, French noir. What is this?"
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting. So if any of you have, got a chance to see that screening, let us know.
Yes,
It
please.
starts out with, Yoshihiro Fan Subs presents Angel's Egg at the beginning.
Yeah. Like, wow. I'd love to know how that went. Yeah.
With, little sparkly letters during all of the music, and all the...
Oh God. I just got in my head, and I wish, and I hope somebody does this. Doing the English dub of Angel's Egg, but only in the voices of Muppet characters.
There we go.
From the Muppet Show. That's what I want. Because
By the way,
why not?
Just to move
Kermit the Frog. It is his anime debut. Awesome.
have you heard about the new Muppet Show they're going to do?
Yes, I think. No.
Is it like the old Muppet Show, in which case I'm all on board? What?
No.
No.
It is, I forget who's doing it, but it is a road movie starring Dr. Teeth and the band.
Oh,
nice.
Yeah, so it's just the band on the road, like going to go to Nashville or something for a thing. It's going to be a TV show. I'm up for that. That sounds cool.
Now, is it going to be a classic Muppet show, or is it going to be like a hardcore like reality show? Rolf's dealing with his drinking problem. You know, Floyd's got this hardcore heroin issue. Yeah, Dr. Teeth is dealing with gender dysphoria and all these other things coming along. It's like
the Muppets cross the wire.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
God.
Where it's like it's not the funny Muppets you thought. It's serious this time.
Exactly. Yes.
Cool.
And Janice helps fund the band in other ways.
Yeah.
Yes. Janice has a botched Botox job, and she can't sing, and now she has to get surgery. All this stuff happens.
I'm sure there's that fan art out there somewhere.
Oh, no doubt. That's terrible. That's just
now. Toei recently announced TOEI actually I should get this Toho announced this week. Obviously the big Japanese movie studio. They announced this week that they're going to be streaming one of their big franchises on their YouTube channel, a TV series adaptation of one of their big franchises on their YouTube channel. And being Toho, a big Japanese company, of course, they're streaming the 1978 American Godzilla cartoon show.
Godzilla and Godzuki?
That's the one.
Yes.
Yep. That is going to be airing on the YouTube series. Now, they're announcing the second season is streaming, because they actually put the first season back on August 10th of last year. So they got the second season. They're bringing it out, because who doesn't want to watch that?
Scrappy Doo Kaiju, yeah.
But here's the thing.
It's very nostalgic.
Very nostalgic.
Very, very nostalgic.
Yeah.
This series has never been released on home video.
No, it hasn't.
So actually...
Good reason, too.
This is the thing, is that this is basically the first release, the first way this has been available in any legitimate way. So I'm assuming the idea is... People, they were looking through all their properties, and they're like, okay, we have the footage for this, we have this sitting around. Let's put it out there. Let's just make it available. We'll throw some ads on it, make some cash, but why not, at least make this a thing that is at least available to folks in a reasonably legitimate form. They're not scrounging for, rips of fourth generation Betamax, copies of the episode.
Right.
Now, this is just a personal thing, but I would love if they were able to figure out what the original corporate sponsor lineup was for the commercials, and ascertain which ones still survive. And when they broadcast it on YouTube, you see General Mills, 1978 General Mills cereal commercials, Mattel Toys, Hasbro, whatever, whoever is still standing now the dust has settled for so many decades. And just do that. So it plays like you'd be sitting down in 1978 eating a bowl of cereal, watching it Saturday morning.
That'd be awesome. Yep.
But nobody will do that.
I was actually living in Fredericksburg when that came out.
Yeah.
Sitting there with my bowl of cereal.
Bowl of cereal.
Frosted Flakes.
I was a little bit north of you in Westchester, Pennsylvania. So.
What was your cereal growing up? What was your favorite breakfast cereal? What were your go-tos? Mine was peanut butter Captain Crunch.
Oh wow,
that was top tier.
So, in an effort to calm me down, they would not let me eat certain cereals with high sugar content and stuff like that. So
Here, Steve, here's your Ritalin cereal.
Wow. And because if I had enough sugar inside of me, literally they would know on Monday in my school. They go, "You gave him Oreos this weekend, didn't you?" How can you tell? Well, it's a smoking crater where the schools used to be, and your son is just laughing demonically with a book of matches. Anyway, for me it was what was the name of it? I did eat Frosted Flakes, and I did also the mini wheats. But my favorite was it was puffed rice with a little bit of sugar on it, and it was
Sugar Smacks.
Thank you with the bear. Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Smack,
and
smack you back.
You back.
Sugar Smacks.
And one of the reasons why I ate that was because it was actually, amount of sugar that I can take in. I did enjoy the taste of it, but they came with the coolest toys in the box.
That's true. Yeah, they were
Like they actually had still remember to this day the little geranium that they had in there, and it can actually grow crap.
Oh, nice!
Like 8 years old. Oh look, I'm making corn. It's just like, oh my god.
Well, if you left the cereal in the cupboard long enough, it would grow its own stuff anyway.
Yeah. By the way, the is it Sugar Crisp? The bear.
Yeah.
I forget the name of the bear.
Sugar Smacks.
It wasn't until I was an adult that I realized he was doing Bing Crosby.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, of course, that's the Bing Crosby. Okay, yeah. I didn't.
Yeah, I had Frosted Flakes at the top of the list.
Okay.
And then I loved Honeycomb.
Okay, yeah.
Because Honeycomb, in those days, it seemed like they were at least the size of a quarter, if not size of like a $half.
They were huge.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they weren't necessarily for just putting in a bowl of milk.
Right.
If you were looking for a snack, you could just eat them like cracker candies.
Yeah.
And they were fine. They were great.
Yeah.
In fact, I saw Honeycomb sitting on the shelf at the grocery store a couple weeks ago, and I was like, good eye.
I'm surprised now there's no Honey Smacks like Chex Mix-esque thing, right? Honey Smacks based snack mix. That sounds like it'd be great.
Well, do you guys remember the Fruit Loop snacks?
Yes.
No.
They were like the size of like a mini donut.
Okay.
They were huge.
Wow.
And they were awesome.
And I was never allowed to have any of those.
I loved those. Oh.
No, don't give that to Steve. Don't give it to... Oh, God. Lockdown. They bring down the elephant gun and put the horse trank in there.
I think Fruit Loops probably had the most sugar. They always tasted like they were the...
It's crunchy sugar. That's all it was.
Crunchy sugar with some flavoring drops. In
Frosted Flakes. The flake was actually only the vehicle to carry the frosting. That was like incredibly sugary.
I will say, so weird cereal. I developed an affinity for grape nuts. The only person in the world I knew of that.
I eat grape nuts a lot now.
Okay, yeah.
Because I love the crunchiness of grape nuts. It's like it's a very interesting tactile experience. It's like, oh, cool.
I hated eating Raisin Bran when I was a kid.
Yep.
But then years later, I was like, oh, Raisin Bran, this is all that they have. And I don't eat that much cereal anymore. But one day I was just like, okay, I'm just like, and I was like, oh, I like it. Just you go into it. My mom used to say, okay, you can have one spoonful of sugar for your cereal, if it was unsweetened,
to help the medicine go down.
Right. And so the bland cereal, so I was allowed to have that. So I would go to the drawer and pick out the largest freaking spoon I can and try to get it into the sugar bowl. My mom's just like, what are you doing? Yeah. You said one spoonful.
You got a ladle. I can't get it in the bowl.
What the Pyrex, measuring cup.
4 cups should be enough.
That'll get me through the next 2 hours.
Yeah, there we go. Yes. A small child exploded in Fredericksburg today.
Yeah.
He was just screaming that he just went.
Quick sidebar. Some Spy Family news this week.
Ooh.
I want to talk about. So Shihei Lin, who is a manga editor, announced on Twitter on Monday that, and she's editor on Chainsaw Man, Heart Gear, Black Torch, and Spy Family, that Spy Family currently has 21 million copies in circulation.
Nice.
Good on them.
Yeah.
Not copies
worth it.
sold. Which is interesting. Also stated the manga has more than 400 million views online. Not too shabby.
Yeah, no joke.
So that kind of intrigued me. By the way, Shueisha is simulcapping the manga in English on the Manga Plus service. So you can watch it entirely caught up and be like right up with that on Manga Plus if you are so interested.
Nice.
It's also on the Shonen Jump service through Viz Media, and of course it's available in print. So I did a little bit more digging. In May, Spy Family the manga charted on the New York Times graphics, books, and manga bestseller list.
Wow.
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
The first volume was at number 4, and Death Note Short Stories was at number 12. So that's pretty cool. So Spy Family definitely doing well in the manga. So.
And you were the one who found it.
Exactly. Then I looked up NPD Bookscan, May 2022 top 20 adult graphic novels. So this is the highest selling adult-oriented graphic novels, not adult.
I was going to say, I can't wait to hear what the results of this are.
As in, not in the kids, graphic novels.
They're graphic, all right.
So, in May, they do not list numbers, just the ranking. Number 1 is Spy Family. Number 2 is Death Note Short Stories. Number 3 is Solo Leveling, which is a Korean manhwa. Number 4 is Spy Family Volume 7. Number 5 is Spy Family Volume 2. Number 6 is Berserk Deluxe Volume 1.
Sure.
Number 7 is Spy Family Volume 4. Number 8 is Spy Family Volume 6. Yeah.
Wow.
They're doing really well. Then there's Chainsaw Man, Jujutsu Kaisen, Toilet Bound Hanako-kun, One Piece, another Spy Family, My Dress Up Darling.
Cool.
My Hero Academia, Volume 1, which is interesting.
Wow.
Demon Slayer, Swords of Water and Flame. So kind of what's going on. My Hero Academia again. Sailor Moon Volume 1. Toilet Bound Hanako-kun, and then Demon Slayer Volume 1. That's all the top 20. Note, this is not the list of top 20 manga. The top 20 best-selling graphic novels for adults are all foreign. It's 19 manga and 1 manhwa.
Damn.
Wow.
Pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. So yes, good on you, Spy Family.
Yay.
Doing the Lord's work.
Doing Lloyd's work?
Yes, there we go.
And Anya, and your too.
By the way, so before we move off, to all you Genshin fans out there, if you play Genshin on Japanese, Ayaka's voice actress, also Yor. So when you see Yor, you might be able to hear a little bit of Ayaka in her. Just so you know.
Cool.
Nice.
So slightly similar thing. So, my favorite part of the show is always anime announcements, new anime announcements. So let's get to that. And indubitably, the big one this week is the announcement of a new Sound Euphonium anime.
Yeah, I saw that. Oh, nice.
There's an event where they announced an anime adapting Kumiko's 3rd year in high school. It'll air in 2024. So we have a little while to wait on that one. Also, the ensemble concert arc will get a medium-length anime, meaning like half hour, presumably. So they said longer than shorter than a feature film.
Okay.
So not like a series, but like a half hour kind of a thing. That will come next year. That will have both Blu-ray releases and theatrical screenings, which is cool. And the in-story band is performing some summer concerts in August coming up. Have you guys seen Sound Euphonium?
Yes.
I have not.
Oh yeah, I have not either.
Saw it. Loved it.
Yeah, John, what's the sort of 2-sentence summary?
Oh,
Putting you on the spot here.
School band. Geez, I also don't want to give anything away. School band, senpais are leaving, they're, going off on their thing, and you have the melancholy of like people who are leaving who are important to the school band. Just the character development between the girls in the band and like their love of what they're doing and like how they ended up with the musical instruments. It was just, touching and heartwarming, and it's not, the music is fine. The music's great, like the little bits and pieces that they're playing and stuff like that, but it's not, it's just, I never would have thought that I would have been like, wow, school band is awesome. Like, and not from like, we're going to nationals kind of thing, but just like all of the different, the woodwinds, the brass section, like all of this stuff that make up the school band, and everybody's like kohai and senpai, and just how they're coming together and how they're dealing with things. It's just, it was really, really good, and I'm really excited to see another season of it. So I wish I could like spoil more things, but I'm not going to.
That's fine.
Sorry.
As you were describing that for a brief moment, it sounded like, oh, this is another Angel Beats thing, because there's the melancholy of people leaving and that kind of thing. I'm like,
yeah,
oh,
not dead.
True. Spoilers.
Yeah. No,
this is the band of the dead when they're finally being able to move on.
Oh, that show.
Are they appreciative? So that you could say maybe they're grateful?
Oh, God.
Other announcements.
Boom.
Also exciting, Star Wars Visions is getting a Volume 2 coming out next year.
Yeah.
The announcement teased creators from the US, Chile, the UK, Ireland, France, Spain, South Africa, India, South Korea, and Japan.
Oh, wow.
That's intriguing. Very multinational. Very, very, very cool. The Senior Vice President for Franchise Content and Strategy at Lucasfilm said, quote, "I can guarantee everyone in this room that Star Wars and anime have a very bright future," end quote. You know what that means? Very corporate, but cool.
Yeah. I'll watch it.
Yeah. Exactly.
That means that Star Wars won't destroy anime.
Yeah, pretty much.
Good to know. Thanks.
So see where that goes, but good to hear. A couple of license announcements that kind of caught my eye. 11 Arts announced at Acon they've licensed the House on the Lost of the House of the Lost on the Cape, and Demo Memorial Days. House of the Lost on the Cape sounds very, very charming. 17-year-old runaway girl and an 8-year-old girl who lost her family and her voice end up with a kind old woman in this slightly tumble-down house, and they start to heal kind of their past through their experiences at this house, and of course strange things happen at some point, but sounds lovely. I believe adapting a novel, so always a good sign there. And then Demo almost went into the weird anime news segment. It is an adaptation of a rhythm game. So how do you do that? I'm going to describe the 11 Arts official description of this movie.
Huh?
Alone in a castle, a figure plays a piano. Demo. One day, a girl falls from the sky. A castle littered with mysterious inhabitants. A sacred tree growing by the melody of piano. A girl with no memory, and Demo. A gentle story that will touch your heart. Ta-da!
It's based on a rhythm game.
Yeah, based on a rhythm game. So, I don't know, the poster shows like a tower and a spiral staircase made of piano keys, and various characters sort of standing on that staircase. I'm intrigued, but boy, I don't know what this is going to be. I have no clue where that's going to go.
I can't wait to meet Demo.
Demo.
Single MD and Production IG will be producing the film. So, who knows? Ooh, and actually, interest suddenly ratcheted way up. Music by Yuki Kajiura. Who did the music for, Dot Hack Sign is my big one. Also Boogie Pop and others. A little show called Demon Slayer. Fate Stay Night, Unlimited Blade Works, and the theme song. Heaven's Feel music. Did she actually do Madoka Magica? Yeah, that was all Yuki Kajiura.
Damn.
As well as SAO.
Okay.
and Tsubasa Reservoir Chronicle. What else?
So a few things.
Just a few things. Pandora Hearts.
A few somewhat notable things.
My Hime, Mad Lax, which always
Nice.
sounds to me like a laxative. And a variety of other things. So yeah, doing fine. Yeah, intrigued.
And now gets to write the music for Demo.
So I have this in mind, like very kind of gothic kind of picture going on here, but it always sideswipes to the when I was at Otakon in 2017, the last time I went, and in the game room with the DDR machine, somebody in the Tyrannosaurus Rex balloon outfit thing with
the inflatable thing,
inflatable thing, dressed as Sailor Moon. On the DDR thing.
Wow.
Going at it, and the head's just like going everywhere. And so, as this vision of mine is popping around my head, I'm like going, Demo.
The only thing I get running through my head is like the Haunted Mansion at Disney World, where there's the guy playing like the haunted organ.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's going to be your intro. It's like, you're going to come to this castle. There's going to be this dramatic piano music, and you'll like scope in on this person playing the piano and turn around and go, and it's a skeleton guy going, Demo. Demo. Like, okay.
Weird. Remember, oh gosh. There was an OVA I saw at Otakon. In one of the video rooms, and it's one of these single title OVAs from like the 80s with a questionable fan sub. Because the theme is this girl has been transported into this like fantasy realm, kind of Alice in Wonderland-esque, but very Japanese. And the villain has this piano that he's playing that is going to bring about the destruction of the world. And there's a line where I think she confronts him, and she goes, "Why are you trying to do this?" Oh, and the piano. That's the thing. By playing the piano, it sends out these like somnambulist wave sounds, which is making everyone fall asleep. And so everyone's eventually going to fall asleep, and society's going to collapse. She goes, "Why are you trying to do this?" And he replies, translated, "I want to make everyone sleep with my piano." And just
thanks for clearing that up.
The whole audience cracked up because it's just like, now we can't take this seriously anymore. I'm sorry. Oh dear.
Love your piano, just don't love
exactly
your piano.
Yes. Very, very odd.
Why are you doing this? Because Kenny G was busy with his saxophone, so I have to do something with the piano. Oh, good to know.
Because I have to awaken Demo.
Bring about the end of the world. Demo.
A technical poster for the new Dragon Ball Super movie, Super Hero, apparently leaked the release date, August 19th, for that. So they put up the poster, and it shows at the bottom, August 19th. Guess that's when it's coming out. So, those interested, that is coming in the U.S., presumably August 19th.
See, that's where the printer just puts the recommended next to that.
Right,
like, oh, it's coming out August. No, it's recommended. So it could be any time.
Yeah. Huh. Estimate. Crunchyroll announced it's acquired the rights to the Fruits Basket Prelude anime film.
Oh.
So the prequel film, I believe, that dealing with Toru's parents and kind of their love story and all that kind of stuff. It'll start screening June 25th, both subbed and English dubbed. In the UK in July with the English dub only. Tickets should already be on sale for the US.
Nice.
And Lydia McKay will be Kyoko, J. Michael Tatum as Katsuya, and Laura Bailey as Toru, with Jerry Jewell as Kyo. That's interesting. How is it? Okay. Curious that Kyo is in the prequel movie. Let's like a flash forward or something. I don't know.
Time travel Demo.
Demo.
The explanation to everything. Pianos, putting people asleep, Demo.
It's all Demo. Moving on to some other just kind of interesting news of note. Actually, we should probably call this also this week Yeah, it's really also this week. The new Gundam Kukuru's Stone Island film came out, made 300 billion yen in 2 days. So not bad. Pretty good. About $3 million. $2.29 million, excuse me. That's on 150,000 tickets. Playing at 184 theaters nationwide, which is a pretty darn big opening for Japan.
Yeah, really.
It was described as a retelling of episode 15, which was omitted in English releases of the series. So, thumbs up on that. Also, side note, they said he was the director was being interviewed about this, and why'd you bring this out? And he said the headline was basically what he said. Don't get me wrong, I'm not ashamed of original Gundam. This is not a oops, we messed up and we're fixing it now. This was we want to go back to the well. This is an interesting story. I want to retell the story. So don't misunderstand us. Okay, fair enough. The Ghibli Park has announced some delays, sadly. The Majo no Tani area, which is basically the Aki's Delivery Service film area, as well as the Howells area and the Irrigan the Witch area, are all being pushed back. They will now open in March 2024. The rest of the park will open November 1st. That will include the giant Ghibli warehouse, the Hill of Youth, and the Dondoko Forest areas. So that's on November 1st. So that's the Totoro area and such. And then the Mononoke Village will come in the last half of 2023. So about a year later after that.
But the gift shop is open and functional. Yes. Please come in. Please spend money. Thank you.
Absolutely. Also, a bit more details I don't know I'd seen before. The Dodoko Mori area, which is the Totoro area, will feature recreation of the shrine and path from Totoro, complete with a 17-foot tall wooden Totoro statue. That's pretty cool.
17 feet. Good.
Kids can actually go inside it. Up to 5 kids can fit inside at one time.
Oh, that means one of me, so I can get in there. Oh.
Is he laying down? I mean, how are they crawling inside? And hopefully the exit is not where I think it is.
It says 17 foot tall, so I don't know.
Look, Totoro's eating them, and they're coming out the other side. Oh, boy. Oh, my.
The Ghibli no Daisoku building, the giant Ghibli warehouse, to give you an idea, is about 4 times the floor space of the Ghibli Museum. They got some space out here.
Holy crap!
Granted, the Ghibli Museum is small. Like it's not Disneyland. But still. Also, the Ghibli Park will contain a 21-foot long recreation of the airship from Castle in the Sky. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, that almost switched it over for me.
Will it fly?
Cool thing.
Oh, hell yeah. I want to take a ride on that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So, delays, but not delays on the entire thing. There's just pushing things out a little bit further.
Now, is the cat bus tram system between the lands operational yet?
There we go. Yeah.
That's what I need to know.
Well, that's the other thing. Like, there are no rides.
Like, no, it's just a tram. It just takes you from one land to the next.
Gosh, what would be... I mean, cat bus is the obvious transportation choice.
Right.
I would not mind... I don't know. The Devil Boar God from the beginning of Princess Mononoke with the legs.
Oh. How about an Ohm?
Oh, good call. Great.
And like the driver just sits in like one of the bigger eyes in the front, and like sort of opens up, and you walk into the Ohm.
That's pretty awesome. Yep.
And it just sort of crawls around the ground.
Or a Meave, you couldn't do it safely, but if you could strap yourself into a Meave zipline, that'd be pretty awesome. Just go down. But no, can't have that. Smacks too much.
You can't have nice things.
That smacks too much of capitalism.
The fun.
Can't have that.
Well, there's the area of the park for the chainsaws.
Exactly. Yeah.
Miyazaki's chainsaw juggling display will be later.
Yeah. The only event they have in there is the chainsaw juggling event.
You want to enjoy the park and have us babysit your kids? Come to Chain Park Daycare Center.
Finally, a bit of a sad news. The Any Uta anime song streaming service will be shutting down July 31st. This was the world's first anime song streaming service for iOS and Android, launched back in August 2018. I think we covered it here. Launched in Japan, March 2017. Service will be shutting down in the U.S. Already shut down in the U.S. in March 2020. This is a collaboration between Flying Dog, Avex Pictures, Katakawa, Sunrise Music Publishing, Toei Animation Music Publishing, Toho, Frontier Works, Pony Canyon, Marvelous, and Atlantis. Plus other sort of miscellaneous.
King Records, King Recordo.
Tokuma, Green Music, Falcom, TMS Music, VAP, Victor Entertainment, Bushiroad Music, Warner Brothers, Pony Canyon.
Pony Canyon.
NBC Universal. So, quite a few. So yeah, unfortunately that did not work out. Which granted, trying to bring all of those, people to the table and keep that going was probably a giant headache. So I can imagine them kind of going, nah, okay, fine. We got, well, let me see here. So it started in 2018. Starting in 2022. So who wants to bet those were 4-year contracts? Like, we'll renegotiate later. No, we won't.
Yeah, everybody came back to the table and said, thanks, no.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Or, thanks, we want, these 8 things. Everyone wants different 8 things. It was, never mind.
How about this? We'll just let iTunes sell it to you at $1.29 a time. How about that? That work for you? Yeah, that's great. Let's go with that.
Pretty much. It was nice having all of that anime all in one streaming service. It's all in one place. Just go, you do it. But not to be. Yeah, that's all the news for this week. Nothing too huge. Thanks for watching.
That's not bad.
Yeah. See you all next week.
Give up.
And I just realized I forgot to probably anime history. And everything else just all ready. Yeah, and you're right, John in chat. I mean, iTunes, Amazon has this button up. Like, if folks want it, it's there.
Yeah.
June 5th. Oh, nothing. Then,
nothing.
Yeah. Nothing. May 24th was the most recent thing. Shinichiro Tanabe's birthday. Unfortunately, in 3 days we have, a very sad anniversary. So we will cover that.
3 days?
Oh, no.
June 6th? Oh, yes.
So we'll talk about that because it is important to remember.
Yes.
Wow. 14 years ago.
Yeah.
Time flies.
Yeah. But it gets faster the older you get.
Shh. Well, I have a question.
What did we learn on the show tonight, Brad?
Every week, we get better at that.
Indeed.
Or my hearing is just getting worse. One of the two. So, I learned that finding random things still pays off. And stumbling across just some odd thing and saying, I'm gonna see that just to see what it is still worth doing. I also learned that correct.
It's a men's room at a sketchy gas station.
I also learned Spy Family is doing darn well. Very glad to see that. And that apparently manga has taken over the American comic industry. That thing everyone was kind of afraid of back, 20 years ago has actually kind of happened. Why are the kids buying all these wide-eyed comics? Well, maybe you should have paid attention to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. John, how about you?
I learned that Sound Foam is coming again. Yeah. It's another season. Yay! And that, we're getting more announcements of things that are coming to like theaters.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like actual anime in theaters. Now, mind you, sometimes there's some interesting choices about what the double features are going to be. That's fine. I blame Demo, but that's fine. Demo. But you know what I mean? It's like, I'm getting so stoked for this because I would hope we're ushering in, and this is probably way too optimistic, but I would love that this would usher in a time where we would get like a general AMC theaters release.
Yeah.
Right.
So that it would be like any Hollywood blockbuster, Mission Impossible, it plays for like 3 weeks and it plays Monday through Sunday at like 3 times a day in like 2 theaters. Okay, maybe that's much, but I'd love to see 2 weeks in 1 theater 3 times a day, Monday through Sunday, of like whatever. You know what I mean? I would love to have seen a Silent Voice in a giant screen. Yeah. I would have been crying my ass off, but that's not important here. So, yay for the future.
Yes. All thanks to Mugen Train.
There we go.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, please, come on, please. And Spy Family. Oh, thank you. Thank you for saying something about that, Brent. Thank you, because it is.
Yes. I'm glad Amazon recommended it to me in my recommendations. I was like, that looks fun.
Yeah. Little did we know.
Best thing ever.
And don't kick concrete. I learned that.
Yes. Although I do have to say, I can't take too much of the credit because, like, I may have found it, but I think we would have known to check out Spy Family. That has become the anime of the year.
Yeah.
Like everyone's watching and talking about that show, which is great.
Which super, because I can't imagine what would have happened if we had not known about it and seen all this stuff coming up and had gotten to watch it and been like, I don't see what everybody's all hyped about. I liked having the anticipation where it was like, oh, this is awesome. Here it is. And that got me consuming the crap out of it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's like, that was nice to have that versus having to go back and be like, oh, this is a thing now? Okay, well, when I get time, I'll get back to that. You're like, no, I like the anticipation.
Yeah. And it is nice being part of something that's current. Knowing the thing as it's happening. Steve, how about you?
Well, my name is Steve, and I'm a Genshin addict.
Hi, Steve.
I am a study in what happens when you can't play Genshin for 72 hours. I damn near lost my mind.
Only 72 hours, dude.
I know. I was
not like 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
I just feel bad for you. I just feel bad for you two because, Chatland, you don't understand. I was on Discord just and they're just they're probably I'm just going, oh god, oh god, do we have to do an intervention? Oh god.
He's gonna rage quit. Here we go.
3, 2, 1. Yep, something exploded in Baltimore. It was Steve. Yeah. All right. I learned that I love Genshin way too much.
No such thing.
But I have learned that Komi can't communicate has certain special powers.
Yes.
Concerning Genshin Impact because, as I was sitting there watching the opening as she's waking up in bed, then my Genshin woke up. And then there you go. And then I was having really big problems with one particular thing in Genshin, and Komi was still playing, and clearly the spirit of Komi came in and helped me with the game. So
your laptop could not communicate with the server.
There we go.
Well, that's right.
So that Komi can't communicate. It's all coming together now.
Yeah.
Synergy.
This is why it's important that you all go out and buy a Komi figurine.
That's right.
And have it on your desk.
And put it train.
Hey, those Nendoroids are coming out in October. There's only so much I can do. We can do. There's only so much that's going to happen.
Before then, you get the acrylic Komi.
Yes.
As
the standee.
Fallback. Yes.
Wait a minute. You get the $1,500 standing.
There we go. Yeah.
And have a secret marriage.
Oh yeah.
My acrylic waffle.
the lady who brings you food might have problems with that.
Yeah. Well, imagine if I got the bunny pillow.
Oh.
That would be divorce time right there.
Just a pillow, honey. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
So I learned that I also need to watch it on the Comey. I've also learned that Demo that we. I've also learned that it's great finding new anime and then being frustrated when you could have more.
Yeah.
And knowing that this could be something. Like it really, like in my mind, I honestly feel about First Squad is I actually do wonder if there's enough people like us who are like, there were issues with it, but it's only because it's the 150-minute thing.
Yeah.
If we could have the TV series, how many other people out there feel that way? And if you were able to somehow generate, kind of some type of friction to come back to this and go, will someone please expand on this and make more of this, because this is actually something that might be worthwhile. Maybe not exactly at this moment in time of history.
Point.
Give it a couple of years.
Let's celebrate the victorious Russians. Let's just do that.
So maybe just wait a little while.
I would imagine domestically there's somebody probably in the propaganda, in the state agency that might be like, yes, this is a perfect time to fund pro-Russian anime.
Although, here's the thing, though. Seriously. License it and say, we're going to do an adaptation. You're going to adapt it. And, Anime Studio brings it in and just do, Americans in World War II or whatever. Just, redo it. Same concept, completely different people. You're fine. Just do it that way.
Well, as was brought up by Saga of Tanya the Evil.
Yeah.
You have the great, the United States of Georgia. That's the U.S. And who they're fighting is the Britannic Empire, and it's just okay, we know who all these people are. But we just sort of shift things around a little bit. So, you easily could do that. Be like, oh, it's the great northern conglomerate versus the central middle fascists. Authoritarians. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Being run by Chancellor Rohit.
Exactly.
Like 86, where it's okay, we know what's going on here. This is clearly a racial, metaphor, but it's sci-fi world. It's all fine.
Yeah,
it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah, because there's a lot to be done with that. Because you could mix it like Girls in Panzer and Strike, which is mixed with a little Ghost in the Shell. You could probably get into that conceptually, and Saga of Tanya the Evil. There's so much you could do with that. So
So the last thing I learned, which was actually very important and needs to be said. The last thing, in all due seriousness, is Demo.
Demo, everyone.
Demo. The castle rhythm game, Demo.
Demo. It all begins and ends with Demo.
That's the